Alright, what's up? Welcome back. So this one will be a little bit different, I think, than normal, but a lot of you guys said that you wanted to see it. So I'm gonna start working on the basement stuff today. We've just been doing a lot of cleaning out of the basement. So we gotta get everything out of there, obviously, so they can start working on it. We're starting to work on it tomorrow, so I'm just gonna bring some of the final loads of stuff to our storage unit that we got, and I'll show you guys the repairs that are needed, and we can kind of go over like the next week. I'll try to do some updates on the work that they're doing, how that stuff is happening. So if you're interested in seeing some foundation repair work and what's going on here, might be kind of cool. So I'll take you along for the ride. I'm gonna drop some stuff off at the storage unit, and I gotta rip my fence down. We got a lot of stuff. A lot of this is like all my wiring and stuff that I had in my basement. Had a whole bunch of wires and some welding cable. And I just got bins and bins and bins of wiring, old wire harnesses and stereo wiring, all kinds of stuff. Alright, so the thought process behind getting the storage unit, we wanted to get a pod originally, but when we talked to the people that were giving us the estimate, they said we could save like 5 or 10% on the basement repair if we waited until later in the year, like November, when they're slow, basically. So we waited a little bit. They ended up giving us a decent discount on it, and the cost was significant enough that the percentage was worth it. So we wanted to do the pod, and then we could just keep it in the driveway and get stuff as we needed to, but we decided to go with the storage unit because we can't park on our road after like December 1st during the winter time. So we also didn't want to feel rushed with getting a pod and having it in the driveway and having to get it out before December 1st. So we ended up going with the storage unit. It's going to be a lot cheaper to do the storage unit anyways. The guy said we could do month by month, and it's right next to the one that we already had. So that worked out pretty slick. Alright, so I guess we're just going to go ahead. We're going to rip the band-aid off. I'm going to show you guys what's going on and why we're getting all this stuff fixed. So we had a lot of things that kind of happened all in the same year, and we're finally fixing it. So first issue we had was this whole drywall section here. This had gotten filled up with water because we had an ice maker line crack. So our ice maker line is actually over here, but it followed the line back, and it filled up this whole drywall section with water. So we came home from vacation, and the ceiling was basically collapsed, and all of the carpeting was trashed. So that kind of sucked because this basement used to be completely finished. Even in this other room here, this is all like an office in the basement, but we had a shower line crack up there, so that's why this was all ripped out. And that was like within a few weeks of each other, these two things happened. So that was kind of, I don't know, we weren't too happy about that. So this stuff is all finished, but they're gonna have to rip all this stuff out. They're gonna rip some of the walls out here, and they have to put anchors on the walls. So I'll go over that in a little bit. So again, like I said, this was all finished before, but we ripped all the carpet out, ripped all the ceiling out. This stuff is all cracked, and there's moisture coming in through down here. And here is kind of where our big issue is. So you can see this is all cracked all the way down and split. We got some more moisture, and it might be kind of hard to see here, but the whole wall is tipped in. So it's actually 2 inches in. The top of the wall is 2 inches in from the bottom. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna come in and they're gonna basically brace this wall, and they're gonna put a big plate on it with a rod that goes out into the yard with another anchoring plate, and tighten it up and pull the wall in. They said that we're basically like right at the point where they would have to excavate it. If it was any farther in, they would have to excavate and then actually rebuild the wall. So glad we didn't have to do that, because that would have been a lot more expensive. So we think we can save it, and that's what they're gonna do, is anchor it and pull this freaking wall back. So we also have some cracking on the side wall. You can see it's just cracking in the grout and starting to split, and then this is also starting to push in. So what we're gonna do here is we're actually going to add an egress window. We wanted to add an egress window, and build a bedroom down here. So we're kind of gonna kill a couple birds with one stone. So we're gonna build the egress window here. They're gonna backfill it with rock, and then they'll also be able to fix the wall at the same time, and the rock backfill will prevent it from getting pushed in anymore. So we live in Wisconsin here, and we had like a really bad winter a couple years ago, and that's when it actually pushed this wall in. So we've just been kind of putting it off, and now we're gonna fix it. Just for an idea that the sidewall is leaning in, if you look at the drywall, it has a bow and it's actually leaning in and starting to push the drywall out. So we're gonna do the egress window and push this whole thing back. Along with fixing the walls and doing the egress window, what they're gonna do about the drainage here, they're gonna actually dig a channel underneath the footing that goes all the way back to the sump pump, so it won't build up any moisture behind the wall. If it does come down, it'll just drain right to the sump pump, so that'll fix the moisture in the corners, so that'll be good. So we're fixing it all up. Overall, it's kind of really disappointing, I guess, because we had this nice finished basement at one point, and then all in the same year, this was all in the same year, we discovered the wall, the ice maker line cracked, and the shower drain cracked, like all within a couple months of each other. So I guess it's good that it happened all at the same time. I'm glad like we didn't fix the ceiling and then the shower drain cracked, or we didn't, you know, fix something and then it was a disaster again and ruined everything we just fixed. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. I just got to finish getting all the other stuff out of the basement because they need room to work. So they wanted like 10 or 12 feet of clearance to be able to do everything, and it makes a lot of sense. Give them as much space as possible, that way we don't have our stuff ruined either in the process. So that's what we're doing. Alright, so it's getting kind of late here, but I'm starting to work on getting this fence down, because they're going to have to drive in here with a little skid steer thing that has a big auger on it to drill down and do whatever they need to do in the backyard. So basically what they're going to do is they're going to run some big rods out, dig a big hole, and then they put a plate in the ground that anchors this rod to pull the wall back. So pulling the panels out, just going to make a space, but to try to keep them off the neighbor's lawn as much as possible, I'm going to pull this other post out so they can kind of stay on our side as much as we can. So let's get this thing out. So I just got two 2x4s screwed into the post. Wiggle it a little bit. It's loose. She's out. Wasn't so bad. It's a big old hole, so unfortunately I actually snapped this one off. There's another post over here. It goes right down there. It was like one of these panels on the top, and I had the nails pounded almost all the way out, and I pulled on it a little bit and it snapped the whole post off. So I'll have to get that out of there and put a new post in. If you're wondering why I haven't been doing much car stuff besides being busy, the garage is full of stuff. So we got some more fruities, veggies. Well, I got like half of a Chrysler 300 down here. All the interior pieces, the grill. This is all the interior that I had to take out when I put that big stereo in it, because the whole back seat was 815s I had in there. And then I found these little guys in the basement. Look at these. Who knows what these are? These are some spinners that I used to have on the Ranger back in like, I don't know, probably like 15 years ago, 14 years ago. Still got them. Alright, so here's pretty much what we got. Everything's pretty much cleaned out. We're going to leave a little bit of stuff here. Snowboards and all these goodies. A lot of stuff just kind of consolidated into a big pile here, away from where they're going to work. This is all clean. We took the racking from the other room, put it over here. This is pretty much how it was before. And now the racking is gone out of this room, and this thing is pretty much empty. Other room down here, we do have one little table with a couple things on it yet, and this room's pretty much empty. So I don't know, emptiness doesn't really make a whole lot of people happy, but this makes me very happy right now, seeing that this is empty, because there's been a lot of stressful discussions trying to figure out what we wanted to do with this. So it's all finally coming together now. You can kind of see the bow in the wall actually here when I do this. So it's kind of bowing and it's leaned in a little bit. Like if I come in here, you can see the corner of the wall straight. And then look at the bow and the lean. The lean with it, rock with it. So yeah, it's finally time. I'm very excited about this. It's just been a long time coming, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the progress.